when really this is such a process of growth that there's no room to be living up to anybody else's expectations other than your own. What's going on, everybody? My name is TAETRO, your electronic music mentor, and welcome back to an all-new episode of Mentor Monday. If you don't know, Mentor Monday is a segment on the channel where we talk about some of the less technical and more philosophical aspects of being an electronic musician or artist. Today we're going to switch things up a bit and I'm going to take your questions. I'm taking questions from my Instagram, so make sure you're following me over there so you don't miss out on some of the cool beats I'm putting up or Q&A opportunities like this one. Now, I did get some technical questions as part of the Q&A and I'm not going to be taking those. I'm going to be taking mostly the questions related to life as an artist and electronic musician, because that's what Mentor Monday is all about. But first things first, if you enjoy live electronic music performances, tutorials, and content to make you a more productive producer, click that subscribe button down below. Now, if you've already subscribed, make sure you go down there and ring the bell so you get notified every single time I post a video. But for now, let's answer some questions. I can't really explain why I started music. I don't really come from a musical family other than my brother, who played in bands while he was in high school, which is probably a gateway into me at least trying music. But in terms of keeping up with it and going for it, I think it was something that was just instinctual. When you pick something up and it comes sort of natural to you, or you have that natural ambition to get better, you should always grasp hold of that thing. And that thing for me was music. So for me, that started by playing trumpet in school, and then also learning the guitar, and then from there writing songs and learning music production. If you're talking about feeling pressured about recording your own music just by yourself, this tells me that you're not recording music for yourself. You seem to be recording music for somebody else, or for somebody else's expectations that may be real or may be imaginary in your own head. Especially when you're just starting out, you should be making music just for you, because if you get in your own head about other people's expectations, you're gonna be constantly too hard on yourself, when really this is such a process of growth. There's no room to be living up to anybody else's expectations other than your own. Just make sure that those expectations are realistic for your point in your musical journey, and don't forget to give yourself a pat on the back when you accomplish even some of the simplest tasks. If you're recording music just for yourself, especially when you start, there should be zero pressure. If songs are lyrical, I'm usually writing about real life, or I'm trying to tell a story. So I'm trying to depict a setting or depict a feeling, or I'm talking about something personal but trying to generalize it enough so that the song is relatable. If it's an instrumental track, I get inspired by just sounds everywhere, which you've probably seen on my channel and on my Instagram. I love making sounds with random objects, so that inspires some of my sound design. But I also try to keep a fairly diverse set of music that I listen to so that I can draw from multiple influences. Two questions that definitely go together. The Novation Circuit is one of my favorite pieces of gear because it's an all-in-one groove box. So you can work with just this circuit and you can come up with full beats and even great song ideas just from using this one little box. This is why if I was starting music today, I would gravitate towards something like the Circuit, something that's all-in-one, standalone, because gear is really expensive and a great laptop is really expensive. So if I was just starting out, dipping my toe into the waters of beat making and music production, I would definitely gravitate towards the Circuit because there's so much less complication when you're working with something that is standalone. When you're working with something more complicated like a DAW and a laptop, you can go so deep that it's almost intimidating. But in the way that you can do so much on the Circuit, there are still limitations, and limitations can help you because you can only do so much. It won't be overwhelming. I can't speak too much to this because I'm mostly independent, but I think a good sign is that if your output slows or stops, if you're not able to actually get anything done, then it's just time to go. You can only wait for so long. When you're dependent on other people, you become reliant on their motivation or their time. There's all these external factors when it's hard enough just to do what you do on your own, I'm sure. I know that's true for me, so adding somebody else to the mix could just overcomplicate things. So if you are hitting roadblock after roadblock, it may be time to call it quits. The Audio Journey, great channel, go check him out. I don't really do that. I try to take advantage of as much of my free time as possible, and I'm pretty self-motivated in that way, where I know that I'm going to work on something every single day, whether it be a video or whether it be music or both. So I think creating music has just become enough of a habit for me that when time becomes free, I immediately fill that void with creating music because it's something that I love, so I don't really need to schedule the time. I'll end with this one because I think it's really appropriate for this video in particular. What may be deceiving is that I do have thousands of followers on Instagram, but I have thousands more subscribers on YouTube. And what I can tell you from this direct experience, and you can see from the number how different they are, is that they basically don't influence each other at all. Sure, I get some traffic of people from my YouTube following going to Instagram, but that number is very small. It's a very small margin. Most of the people that are following me on Instagram probably don't even follow me on YouTube. And that's because you have to make content that is dedicated to the platform that it's going on. Which means when I was putting up just clips of some of my YouTube videos on my Instagram, I wasn't seeing much growth because those videos were not intended to be put on Instagram initially. When I started doing beat videos explicitly for Instagram that pretty much don't end up on the channel, that's when I started to see growth on Instagram. So YouTube basically has nothing to do with you gaining thousands of followers on Instagram. What you should do is just make dope content that is for Instagram. Make sure you hashtag it, don't be spammy, and make really dope content that is built for Instagram, which means it's formatted appropriately. I like to do 4x5 vertical size for my feed, and story posts should always be 9x16. If you have that and the content is really, really dope, you will gain a following on Instagram, no problem. Doesn't matter if you have a YouTube channel or not. All right, I hope some of these answers were helpful for you in your electronic music or artist journey. If you haven't yet, make sure you click subscribe down below for more electronic music performances, tutorials, and content to make you a more productive producer. This has been another episode of Mentor Monday. My name is TAETRO, your electronic music mentor. Have a good one.